Welcome back. We're going to be throwing some more Overwatch in your faces in just a moment. And it is going to be an intriguing game because we have ourselves a rematch of last week featuring, grand finalists such as ANOX. We saw Rogue, who actually fell foul to the CIS team before. There's a lot of storylines in play. And actually, it's weird. We don't normally do this. But gentlemen, Joshi, John, we are going to first start by talking about the map pool straight out of the gate because it's got a little bit weird. This whole, I don't know what's going on. First of all, we never saw Hanamura, and that was the third map we would have seen if Too Strong and We United had gone there. Now we fall into this one. It's our final game from Europe, and we're seeing Temple of Anubis. When was the last time you casted Temple of Anubis, Joshi?
I think one time in like a round of 64
right, okay,
a few months ago.
If people are unfamiliar, that's a perfect way of explaining how little this pops up. But could you go ahead and explain, well, why it doesn't pop up much and what we have to expect?
Sure. So Temple of Anubis is an assault map that's basically code for 2-point capture maps. Volskaya, Hanamura, and Anubis are all that sort of map. Anubis specifically, I feel, is kind of like the least offensive of the three. So if you're going to play a 2-cap map at all, Anubis is okay, but they've at least done some map balance changes to that map in the past. But the reason the pro players don't really like it so much is that the analogy that I always give is that both sides are flipping coins. Basically, if you think about...
I'm flipping coins.
Yeah,
I'll do that.
So offense is flipping coins, defense is flipping coins. Occasionally, defense is going to lose those coin flips.
Yeah.
If you think about every time they clash into each other, pop ultimates, and go to the death,
town, yeah.
Defense is eventually going to lose one, right? So it seems like attackers are very favored on these maps, and it can feel really bad if they take A and they have all their ultimates still available and then just run straight to B and do the same thing to you again. It's like the worst feeling.
You'll have plenty of time to talk about that, of course, when the cast does go live. John, just quickly touching on one of the adversaries within this battle, within this brawl, it is none other than ANOX, and I just want you to highlight their run last week.
Well, their run last week was fantastic. Unfortunately, losing in the final to Misfits, but that was after they won the first map as well, and we thought they were almost going to steamroll. I think Joshi did as well, and he was watching from afar. And to get to that point, they went through both Reunited and Rogue. Extremely strong team. We did kind of watch the Cypher show a little bit, but there were about 12 different opportunities for us to go, oh my goodness, Genji, this is amazing.
That's right.
And I know DDK was particularly happy with that, but yeah, very, very strong.
Well, enjoy it while it's on the screens. You may not see too much more of it. It's the Temple of Anubis introduction video. Things have been thrown a bit of a curveball here into our second quarterfinal of the European Overwatch Open Week 2. Your casters are none other than us, Joshi and Durasar, and I'm going to disappear now as you guys enjoy this one.
Whoosh, he's gone. Into the night.
Cloud of smoke?
He'll be back later, though. We'll see.
All
right, so we are here on Anubis. They've got 30 seconds left to prepare their defense, so we can see already this blue team Rogue, who they have selected. We've got a Reinhardt and Zarya tank combo, Zen and Lucio, very, very common support combo, and then their damage dealers, AKM is actually going to start out on McCree, Tavik on Junkrat.
Yeah, and I love Tavik's Junkrat. I mean, a pre-patch, a lot of Tavik and a lot of Seagull. Junkrat plays have just been absolutely delightful. This is also the first time I've watched Anubis in a competitive game in probably a month or two. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen here. Team's obviously less prepared and scrim a little bit less here compared to other stuff, but very keen to see what transpires. And as we predicted, a very, very quick attack coming in, and Cypher leading the charge.
Wow, Cypher managed to stay alive. Very brazen attack into the bridge there against many defenders, but does actually stay up. Cypher back up to full health now, and it looks like AKM and Reinforce actually getting a couple of kills to start out. Cypher not really getting anything done himself, but the attacking team has been pretty much thwarted here. Wins is the only person to fall on the side of the defense. It is a long run back for that immobile Zarya, but just the way things are going here, it looks like defense should be able to hold on. AKM and Reinforce combining for that front line, doing a lot of work.
And Tavik providing a lot of covering fire from the back as well on Junkrat. There are two sort of little archways. The first set of double doors, followed by going under the bridge here. That is quite difficult for heroes on the ground to sort of circumnavigate. So we'll see if they're able to get around that. Anak coming in to try and start the engagement off. He gets killed off pretty quickly, but he does have the effect of scattering and pushing back the defending team. Transcendence now being forced out.
Yeah, the newly buffed Fan the Hammer doing its job there. Sharik is also going to fall, and Kenzie, after getting Earth Shattered, is just a sitting duck here. AKM lighting up everything here on McCree, getting it shot after shot, just laying into them, and no one on the defense died in that engagement, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was very nice. Tavik actually swapping stuff off, by the way. He's actually actually going to be moving on to Reaper from Junkrat, so perhaps serving its purpose for the first couple of pushes, and now they see ANOX just being even more aggressive. Maybe they want to get a bit more up close and personal and be able to defend that CQB situation.
Oh, here's a nice combination. Graviton Surge into the Dragon Blade. He gets stalled just for a second by the McCree Flashbang, it looked like, but he does manage to scoop a lot of kills, and that should be point A headed their way, as Zarya is kind of the last person here defending. Wins is ultimately going to fall, and now we've got the situation that we were talking about, but pretty good holds from the side of Rogue actually is going to prevent ANOX from actually having a ton of ultimates available for point B, because they did have to use them just to secure A, and there we do see it is going to be secured after about 2 minutes.
Yeah, they didn't win with the first push, so it wasn't like this is a steamroll. All 6 have their ultimates ahead of Rogue or anything like that. There's one ult on either side, and ANOX definitely have the better set of ultimates. Kenzie and Cool are both getting their ults up now, but it's not like Rogue are completely out in the wilderness. They will have that defender's advantage. We'll see if they can hold. Of course, it's very difficult to prevent this from being a snowball, so let's see how well they do here. ANAC starting the aggression, popping that Primal Rage, and basically getting no damage done before getting taken out.
Yeah, getting frozen specifically by Tavik, who swapped off of the Reaper onto Mei as soon as point A was taken. He did make that switcheroo, and the wall, of course, is going to be incredibly valuable here on point B, as it does block that entire entryway. You can see the ice block there, keeping him alive to contest the point, because most of his team did actually die during that encounter. Sherrick actually here trying to focus down the Tracer. Tracer can be very annoying and very good at continuing to contest as well. I'm not sure if we'll end up seeing the Tracer if they manage to hold here. He may switch off, but it looks like the attacking team getting a couple of kills now. Cypher and Anak combining for 3 kills there. Mei is kind of the last hope here. Tavik staying alive as long as he can. 61 health finally does fall there to Cypher and that Genji, but now everything is looking good on the side of the offense as the Dragon Blade comes out. He gets the kill on Wins. Nox falls right after, and that's 2 ticks on the point. They're probably going to get 3. I don't think anyone on the defense can really get in there. No, that's going to be it, and that is about a 3 minute 20-second or so time overall.
Very, very nice stuff coming out from them there. Mei doing her best to disrupt the attacking team's momentum by placing the wall in between the teams, which I thought was particularly good, but unfortunately not able to make that count in the long run, and that will mean that we have a first time set.
Yep, so pretty swift overall, only about 2 minutes for the first point, less than 2 minutes for the second point, so Rogue looked pretty good at points there, but it was just the unstoppable offense. Cypher specifically just doing a lot of work with his mobility and working against these more static defenders. But we can see now as we flip sides, we're going to have Rogue actually on the attack this time around. The defense we see coming out from ANOX, still very typical. You see the Zen Lucio. No Zarya this time around, though. It was kind of interesting. Anak is going to be playing that Winston still.
All right, well, we'll see how that strategy turns out for them. They have a minute left to prepare, so we might see some changes yet, at least on the attacking side. And, of course, we are going to be playing with the time bank system here, so I'm looking forward to seeing how the teams actually change up their strategies to potentially just try and whittle down the time and look for that final push. I'm not certain, like you say, with this snowball effect here, we're going to really be seeing full hold after full hold or anything like that. And one thing I do like that I've seen on maybe Volskaya more than Anubis, right, is if the teams do start to snowball, you get to see the ways that they adapt their strategy to try different things as they go back onto the attack again. And you basically get to see that 4 or 6 minutes after the last time they did it. So you get a really nice evolution of the story of how the teams are progressing with their strategies.
That's true. When you do play multiple rounds like that, you have time to make adjustments. And we are seeing Genji on both sides. We talked actually in a previous round that Genji's still pretty good on defense. When you've got the skilled Genji player at the helm, Cypher is going to be sticking it out. They're not playing that Reaper, or even there's no Junkrat this time around. But offense, Tavik is going to be playing his signature Genji as well. We'll see who is going to come out on top.
Oh, and Sharek are going down very, very early on, so there goes the tank, and Cypher deciding, hang on a second, guys, this show's about me. So we'll see if we can go ahead and get a couple of extra kills there, trying to deflect, but he gets taken down by AKM. Wins in the meantime, also taking out the support in Rubicon. That's particularly important. And Nax still standing on the point of being very aggressive, though. He might get reinforced. He does manage another bubble going down there, and he will be able to hold the deep. And Nak, his Winston play really is top-notch. He's so disruptive, and he always seems to be able to attack about 2 seconds before the other team gets ready. He's really good at knowing his timings.
I was very interested to see them hold that point. It looked like with AKM and Reinforce both actually stomping all over the point, I thought they were going to be fine there, but ANOX dropped in and finished the job. Kenzie actually on that McCree has Deadeye available, but it's actually the story of these Winston bubbles keeping everyone alive on either side. Sherrick and Rubicon getting a couple of kills there. Kenzie gets the kill on Winston. It looks like ANOX is going to hold once again, so that very swift time for point A is starting to come under fire a little bit here, and Rogue is going to be perhaps a bit slower.
We'll take a look in the next engagement, but I did notice that rather than target specifically the support or the tank or something like this, they're looking for the DPS damage dealers. AKM and Tavik seem to be going down quite early in these team fights, and I wonder if that's a particular point that ANOX are focusing on right now. Let's take a look. Another massive brawl going down. ANOX again, completely in the middle of the action. Cypher now looking for a couple of kills. And look, Tavik again, and there's AKM, the third person killed. They are targeting down the Genji and Reaper, knowing if the DPS isn't there, we can win the drawn-out fight.
I think it's actually a kind of a role division, because Cypher got the kills on both AKM and Tavik there. He's hunting them down when he has Dragon Blade out. I think it's actually ANOX and Kenzie are looking for the supports, because we did see him hop onto that Zen right away. So you've got a little bit of division of labor. We know that Cypher is actually going to be able to get to the enemy Genji, right? So it can be a little tougher for some of these other characters to even get in. Unko actually can pin there and taken out by Sherrick is bad for the offense, but Tavik and Reinforce getting kills. There's a Death Blossom at least getting a piece of 3 different members of the defense now trying to finish off ANOX, and that is going to do it. They will be able to take point A here, but about 30 seconds slower than ANOX did.
And interestingly, the ultimate situation here is a little bit less clear. Unko is going to have Transcendence, so can you make that one ultimate count? Because almost all of the rest of the players in this game aren't really that close to theirs. So it's going to be a little more difficult to see this steamroll, but one Transcendence can make a huge difference, especially when there isn't a Transcendence in response.
Yeah, there's nothing on the side of the defense right now. Tavik is the player that I wanted to watch, but he actually got taken out super fast. Zenyatta from downtown manages to take him out. Transcendence not used here, notably, so it looks like the offensive push is going to get totally thwarted. Good job by ANOX to keep most of their players alive, but the fact is they're definitely going to be able to whittle this attacking team down. Tavik basically respawned because he was taken out so early in that fight. They really didn't have much of a chance anyway going in 5v6.
Exactly right. So they're definitely going to be finishing this time down. You can see just 5 seconds left between the two teams, so there is no chance for Rogue to better this time, but they can set themselves up in a good position. They need to focus on this team fight. They need to make sure they don't lag behind extensively after only 1 round, because that just adds so much pressure.
Yeah, Tavik actually, once again, a very pivotal part of this offense. Takes off the enemy Genji as quick as he can. Now going for the McCree, and it gets him as well. Rubicon going down in the process. That Zenyatta heal is going to be missed, and this could be Rogue's opportunity. The door is wide open as Sherrick falls now. Less tanks available for the defense. It looks like AKM on the Reaper catching the Harmony Orb is going to stay alive there. It transfers onto Tavik. Can they stay alive long enough? I'm sure they can. Tracer trying to come in now and contest is going to be able to stay alive for a few seconds. Really, it's just about bleeding clock at this point. If you know you're not going to be able to hold the point entirely, you might as well bleed that clock.
Exactly right. They're hoping to try and bleed this out to a minute or more. And of course, if they do manage to get a situation where they team wipe and buy even more time, then that's fantastic. All out brawl, and we actually have 4 kills in a row for Rogue here, so they will be able to complete 4 minutes and 46 seconds left, nearly a full minute behind ANOX right now.
Right, and every second counts in this time bank system. Obviously, we'll now start again, basically, this time with only 5 minutes and 38 seconds for ANOX to try and take as many points as they can.
Quick prediction, ANOX are going to do exactly the same thing, because ANOX loves jumping in. He's doing a great job of initiating on Winston. I can't really see that necessarily changing here. We'll find out. I wonder if we're going to be seeing a switch up. At the moment, Kenzie on Junkrat, ANOX on Zarya looks very exciting to me, but I just want to see how quickly they manage to get in here.
I see this Kenzie with a Junkrat, and I don't think that's going to last.
I'm looking at it.
Tavik is taking his time, probably discussing with the team, should I go Genji, should I go Reaper? And it looks like AKM is going to be taking the role of McCree this time. He was the defensive Reaper, so Tavik, he was the offensive Reaper. This time, Tavik is going to be playing the defensive Reaper for Rogue. So 5 minutes, 38 seconds to get as many points as they can. If they only get A, they go up to 3 points. If they get both, obviously they go up to 4. And then it's just a matter of really just working that clock as best they can to prevent Rogue from beating their time. So As we look at the defense now and how they're posturing, you can see pretty much everyone's setting up on the bridge. We did see ANOX previously playing that Winston leap onto the bridge immediately. They also had a Diva last time around too, and this time I don't see either of those characters. So they are doing the evolution that you talked about, switching it up almost entirely here.
Well, they do have 12 seconds left to continue to troll us. But it does look like that's what's setting up. No one's swapping on and off of heroes, and there hasn't been a Torb to troll us either. So this makes me think that it is going to stay, and we count down. The timer has gone on to 0. Indeed, we are going to be switching up this composition. How much are they expecting an offensive Junkrat? I really don't know.
I would not be expecting offensive Junkrat on a 2-cap map almost ever, but as you said, you know, teams don't really scrim these 2-cap maps as much as Payload or King of the Hill, so anything goes, essentially. As long as you can get the kills, it really doesn't matter who you're piloting. It looks like on the defensive side, they're basically just pinning the offense into this side room. Speed boost is going to allow them to push forward a little bit. Junkrat throwing traps out is actually the key here, I think. If he throws out the trap and knocks the people off the bridge, definitely shakes up the defense.
Completely. Their positioning is just really, really hindered right now because Junkrat, thanks to this choke point coming into the bridge, is just such a narrow space for Junkrat to be able to deal the damage. And he, of course, isn't taking any in return, which is excellent for the attacking team. Sharek goes down now. AKM trying to stem the flow. 3 people down for Rogue right now, and ANOX are actually making this work. Only Sharek down, but he is the main tank. So are we going to see heroics from someone else? Ooh, doesn't look like it.
Pretty impressive stuff there, actually. I think I really like the concussive mine actually just coming into play so often during that attack, and it took only about 1 minute, 7 seconds this time around for them to actually take it.
Now this could actually be a steamroll though, because ANOX, we're getting to 90% on the ultimate. You can see basically everyone is ahead in ultimates on ANOX, so they wait a little bit longer. They're going to basically have 2 or 3 ultimates versus maybe 1. This could end up being a big, big important fight. Rogue need to hold this.
I think every fight is just vital on these 2-cap maps because trickle-in defenses just do not work. You have to, you know, keep everybody alive as long as you can. Tavik actually switching to that Mei again, which we did see the first time around. Last time he was a pivotal part of this B defense, even though it didn't last for long. He did manage to bleed the clock there with Mei's defensive abilities. The sword comes out for Cypher now. Transcendence comes out, but not on the right side. AKM and Wins both fall. And Rogue is looking in dire straits now as they are starting to trickle back in.
Oh, so nice. They basically used 5 ultimates and said to Cooler, hold it, hold it, hold it. And now we have the sound barrier coming out from ANOX. And that just gave them maximum survivability. Rubicon, okay, he has to trickle back in. But everyone else is still contesting so hard on the point. That was really, really beautifully timed on the ults.
Unfortunately for Wins, he hits the fat Graviton surge right at the end. Cut 5 members of the attacking team, but
got him.
Unable to do the follow-up, obviously, as the point was captured. So that was actually even faster than the first time they ran through by about 30 seconds. Incredible stuff there from ANOX. Now it's Rogue's chance to try and shake things up. We'll see if they actually make any weird switches like we saw with ANOX.
It's going to be interesting. It looks like they're warming up by playing Hearthstone.
Oh, of course.
And a couple of bottles of nondescript. Actually, they look pretty empty, so it's not really possible for me to tell what they were. But ANOX.
I think that's a bottle of vodka right there.
Is it? I mean, it says V on it. I suppose it's
a
like
safe assumption.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Volskaya brand vodka from Russia.
I bet that'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
Probably. So ANOX there. I really like the way they staggered the ultimates and planned when Cooler was going to hit that sound barrier. I feel like that's really important. A lot of the times when teams have a big ultimate advantage, you see a huge fight and they come out second best, you think to yourself, they had the ult advantage. What actually happened there? And it's about thinking about the order in which you use the ultimates and when you're saving stuff for. The easy one to talk about is Transcendence versus Transcendence, and you want to be the later one using it and stuff like that. But in this particular case, I think ANOX just did that so beautifully on the second point.
Yeah, interesting that we're seeing almost entirely a mirror here. Actually, no, we just now had a character switch here from AKM going from McCree onto Reaper now. He was going to match that Kenzie on the defense, but the gates will open in about 10 seconds. It looks like practice makes perfect. They're just going to keep doing the same composition that they are familiar with. Reinforce, I expect to see leaping up into that bridge area super fast. Tavik, of course, can do that as well. Cypher actually playing kind of an interesting position with Genji up on the almost like a rooftops on the inside just as the attackers come in. So we'll see. It looks like they're not going to do a super fast push. It actually is going to allow the defense to come down onto the ground to meet them. Kenzie actually jumps down as McCree and immediately gets Genji'd. Sherrick also suffering the same fate there. So Cypher doing what he can does ultimately crumple to AKM and Reinforce. And Tavik's doing his job, finding the right targets. Now that there's very few characters left at all, everyone can kind of just turn on the Winston and blow him up.
Wow, that was interesting. I think maybe the defense there from ANOX was kind of gambling on Rogue, going, okay, we're going to have to take the bridge. We know the high ground is pretty useful. That's what happened last time. And then they collapsed on the offense, trying to take them off guard. But it really didn't seem to work for them at all there, did it? And now Rogue have an opportunity to come in and potentially even level things here. Well, more or less. They have to take in the next 15 seconds. But that's not impossible right now. Let's see how this pans out.
It seems that Tavik is actually going to immediately assist AKM with that kill and then get in the face of the McCree. McCree's not mobile. He's not going to be able to get past Tavik. He has to kill him, essentially, to go anywhere. And first tick's going to be secured already. Everyone's still standing on the side of Rogue, so much faster this time around than their previous effort. Actually going to almost equal up here with ANOX because they did such a great job on this time. Only 9 seconds separates them. This time it was about 50.
Tavik has the belief. He Genji'd it up.
And I do want to point out that we're entering the 3rd round of Anubis here. If both teams actually get both points again, we have the dreaded coin flip.
That's right.
And then it's just a matter of, are you offense, are you defense? And then it's either a minute and a half or 2 minutes. I'm not entirely sure, but basically you get the one final showdown, and at this point it's still in, fastest time is going to benefit them. ANOX, if they can get both points in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, they've been able to do it twice already, so I really don't see a reason why not. But Rogue, they do have the opportunity here to put up a stout defense and try to sneak this one away from ANOX.
I love the way Rogue pulled that one back, and I completely agree with you, Joshy. Rogue didn't do anything particularly revolutionary, but what they did so well. And ANOX at the moment, they were fantastic in the first round, less so on the second round. That's allowed Rogue to level up. Just to let everyone on stream know as well, yes, it's a little bit of a dreaded coin flip. We are not going to coin flip. If this ends up being a draw, we will play a best of 3 King of the Hill to determine the winner.
Okay. That's interesting. I'll take it.
I just double-checked the rule set with the directors, and I just got that confirmed. So we won't be having a coin flip and a single capture, because generally speaking, the players don't really appreciate that too much.
The dreaded coin flip will stay in competitive mode and out of our esports.
True story. For now.
For now. So 15 seconds left until the gates open. The offense, this time around, it is going to be ANOX attacking. And if we see the defense, sorry, getting jumbled up a little bit. We've got Tavik as Junkrat on the defense this time, not on the offense. So we'll see if the concussive mines are actually going to come into play as much as they did for that assault.
All right. So I do love this skin, by the way. It just makes the bombs look so colorful. We'll see in Cypher going down very, very early on. So ANOX going towards the left, and this defensive Junkrat, actually, don't forget it plays both ways. You have a very narrow target to hurl the bombs down. It's very difficult to avoid all of that damage. Both sides now chucking out a lot of mines, and crucially, chucking a lot of those traps at each other. Makes it very difficult for either side to progress.
Yeah, Junkrat on either side, just basically an explosion fest happening here, but we also, are lacking a Genji on the side of the defense, so they are a little more entrenched, I'll say, as a defense. They're not going to be able to run out and deal with that backline of the attacking team. They're essentially just trying to set up as good of a wall as they can, and it's kind of interesting, actually, even after the Junkrat came out last time, that these teams insist on playing on this high ground area with the bridge rather than falling back to the point itself and trying to basically aim down at the point.
I'm looking for the Cypher flank here, and I'm not really seeing it. He's kind of with the team at the moment. I don't see that triple kill he's looking for. There is an excellent Riptire coming out from Tavik, going from the bottom up the side of the wall. Very little time to react. AKM getting another hit off on Anak as well, so that resets ANOX once more. And Rogue at the moment doing a tremendous job on this 3rd iteration. Oh, and Cypher taking the health back. Is he going to be moving on in? I think he's going to be waiting for people. I was looking forward to an amazing solo effort, but Cypher does need that support a little bit here.
Yeah, really good stuff from Rogue just to stall ANOX longer than it took them on the previous 2 rounds. So this is their best defense yet. This time we are going to see D.Va actually come out from Kenzie rather than the Junkrat that he was on earlier. He's going to immediately focus down AKM, who did get that Discord orb, so great coordination coordination there on the side of the offense, but the sound barrier going to keep everyone in play on the side of the defense. Still have both Tanks and Tavik up on the high ground, lobbing those Junkrat bombs down into the choke. Cooler's going to have to back way off now as he loses both Kenzie and Rubicon. Earthshatter is available, Graviton's Surge is available on the side of Rogue. Only a minute 20 seconds left to try and take both points if they can. So at this point, I think that ANOX will be happy to get just A.
Yeah, this is interesting because they tried a strategy similar to this before, and it worked. So right now, Rogue are reading into ANOX. They're saying, okay, we know what you're doing here, and they have been able to counter it. Oh, a lot of skulls going on over there, but Anak, the only pill coming out of here from AKM, a very important one, though, as he picks off Cypher in the meantime. Oh my god. I mean, this is now the McCree show. Cypher's going to be slightly annoyed at that. He thought it was about him.
Yeah, Zen, I was going to say he might escape there, but actually AKM manages to wing him just on the edge of that wall there. So offense definitely getting reset once again. 39 seconds left for them to try to make something happen with 0 ultimates. Could be pretty difficult. Kenzie does have his Diva ultimate now, and actually looks like, did he immediately launch it? I'm not sure what happened there. Didn't get any kills for sure.
Diva moving in from... there's 23 seconds now, and I mean, Diva's going to play a pivotal role if we can actually force the team into it. Yeah, there we go, forcing the team into a corner and then using the defensive matrix, but unfortunately, it hasn't resulted in quite so many kills. They managed to get 2 players off, but they still need to contest the position. Anak and Cypher doing their best to scramble back now. Is it going to be enough? Tavik wins, and AKM all still alive. And we are going down to overtime here.
Yeah, the overtime actually may allow ANOX to secure 1 point, but will end immediately. Or, yeah, the time cannot be added anymore. So the first time you attack, obviously, time gets added from A to B. But in the case of this 3rd round now of attack, essentially, time bank's all you got. So they're happy to get that point A at the very last second. I'm sure Rogue is kicking themselves now, even though they did get both A and B in under the amount of time that they have left. The last 2 times. You don't want to have to bank on that. They could have just only had to take A. Now they've got to take both to secure the map.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a much more difficult fight to have unless we talk about the dreaded situation where it snowballs super quickly and the first engagement wins you point A and you have the ultimate advantage and you rush over to point B and you take that cleanly. We haven't seen that a single time yet here on Temple of Anubis. I feel like we see it sometimes on Volskaya.
Yeah, we haven't seen the 1 minute and 40 seconds attack yet.
No.
Like, that's basically as fast as you can do it. But we saw like a 2 minute and 10 seconds attack from Rogue.
Yeah, they were only stopped once, so that was pretty quick. And that would be good enough to win them the map in this situation.
Yep, so they're looking to basically have a repeat performance here, not switching anything crazy from what we see so far. It's, again, going to be that tried and true AKM on Reaper, Tavik on the Genji. Expecting to see a very similar story play out, but it's going to be obviously up to the defense as they are basically matching them. The only difference being a Reinhardt instead of a Zarya, which makes sense, of course, if you're trying to defend a point.
20 seconds left to go. Players on edge. It must be so difficult being in this position. This isn't just, you know, your stopwatch payload map. This is ANOX know exactly what they have to do. Rogue know exactly what they have to do. And they're all sat there going, can we please get on with it now? Tensions are very high. We'll see if Rogue are able to take both points here. They have 3 minutes and 21 seconds to do so. Otherwise, we go to a best of 3 King of the Hill, assuming they take the first point, of course.
Yeah, so we're going to just have to see now. AKM getting the speed boost in, trying to get to a nice position. Genji on the other side, Cypher actually diving into that back line. AKM finds the McCree, does not get flashed, so may actually have an opportunity here. Finally does get flashed and actually loses that side. Reinforce hopping away as his team is starting to fall. Tavik also falling there. Looks kind of scary now for Rogue. Definitely not going to be able to set that 2 minute time, but obviously still have about 3 minutes left to try and make something happen.
Yeah, Kenzie mopping up there and grabbing a triple. That's going to be highly, highly useful for him. So we will have a reset for Rogue. Now, they still have 2 minutes 40. It's still technically possible for them to win this, but obviously they're going to have to do it in double time. What is the ultimate situation looking like? Well, it's marginally in favor of ANOX, actually.
Yeah, it looks like the defending team mostly in the 60s and 70s range there, but as we engage again, those ults will start to come up, and then it's just a matter of who gets what first. Pop those ults as soon as you get them if you think it's going to turn the tide of the battle. Nox actually taking a lot of damage, unable to heal his team because he did get so low. AKM now actually does secure the kill on Cypher, gets pinned in the process, but looks like he survived somehow. Shurik did not get the full pin. I don't know if the distance ran out. I'm not sure where he charged from, but it looks like he may have just gotten saved by the distance there.
That's particularly interesting because the first 2 kills actually went the way of ANOX there, and all of a sudden Rogue also have 2 ultimates now. Make that 3 with Reinforce joining the fray. They're going to end up having a minute and 45 seconds, more or less, to take the second point.
Okay, so ANOX cannot win here. I mean, they cannot win the map. They will not win
guaranteed
Anubis.
the draw.
Yeah, so either a draw or a win for Rogue. And now 95 seconds here for Rogue to see what they can do. Death Blossom and Sound Barrier definitely going to be huge here. Tavik also has his Dragon Blade, and everything gets used, or at least the Sound Barrier. Actually, I'm surprised the follow-up ults didn't get used super quickly there, but the pin actually takes Winston away. You can see AKM trying to focus down that Genji. The Death Blossom comes out finally.
Oh.
Good timing there. Zenyatta tries to rush in with the Transcendence, but 2 members actually die before he can pick them up.
Very, very nice stuff. Looking for Lucio. Doesn't quite get Lucio at the moment. Still contesting the objective from both teams. But Rogue is having people sort of trickle in right now, and they're not quite able to get that ticker moving that much further. They still have opportunities, though. And Tavik, I mean, Sushi Blade not quite doing everything he wanted to, and he's going to obviously have that cooldown. Still taking out so many people. I'm very impressed with this, but can he keep it going long enough?
Both sides are trickling hard here, so I think defense is favored. If they can't get a couple of kills here, I think it's going to go the way of ANOX. But Kenzie does go down. The Graviton Surge actually comes in, and that is going to be the decider. The Graviton Surge, of course, just being a game changer in pretty much every respect. D.Va is going to hover above the point, but you're actually too high above the point, you're not contesting. So she dies before she even hits the ground.
Wow.
And Rogue will take the first map here on Anubis. Well done for them on the 3rd run through there.
And there we were talking about whether there'd be coin flips. Ha.
Well, thank goodness there's not.
25 seconds left to go. Sharek with play of the game here. Rogue do take Temple of Anubis. That's right, not a map you see every day, but they managed to take game number 1 here.
I didn't even see this happen. That's crazy.
Painful.
Crazy amount of hammer swinging there for Sharek. Does actually get a ton of damage out onto the defense, but yeah, well done by Rogue. Both on the attack there and the defense for that last round, both going heavily in the way of Rogue.
It's very difficult, I think, to read into this map in terms of how does this mean going forward into the next game? Because, to be honest, the last time I saw Anubis was pretty much as long as you have as well.
Months, yeah.
So we saw some pretty cool switch-ups from the teams, and especially I feel like round 2 for Rogue was kind of like a waking up point where it was like, wow, ANOX really showed their hand and they were doing fantastically, and then Rogue just about managed to equalize out of nowhere. But ANOX was so strong last week, and they beat Rogue.
Yeah.
They do have the capacity to come back.
That's true. They already beat this team last week, so they know they have the capability. And we are actually going to hop to a short break now. When we get back, there's 2 different King of the Hill maps left in this best of 3, so we'll either see Nepal or Ilios on the return. So we'll see you shortly.